My first live Q&A session I've ever done. You got myself here, Cosmosquark, and my brother, Droidxnd, who's sat at the back on the sofa playing... What game are you playing at the moment?
Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate.
Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate. Yeah, any good? Any good?
It's very good fun. Especially if you like doing long, drawn-out fights against big monsters. Although that being said, there is a new game coming out soon on February 13th.
Okay, awesome.
If you're into the series.
Yeah, they're also releasing the new 3DS at some point, aren't they?
Yes, they are. The new 3DS will be released the same day as Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate, which is, as I mentioned beforehand, February 13th. From what I remember, what the new 3DS offers is, first of all, it's got an enhanced processor, so it can load up games quicker. So those of you who probably play Smash Bros on the 3DS will notice how long it takes for a game to load, for example. On the new 3DS, it basically cuts down the loading time in either half, even maybe even faster, with stronger processing power. Alongside this, the new 3DS will support amiibos straight off the bat.
That's cool.
So
which one are the amiibos? Which one are the amiibos? That's the one that it's basically the Nintendo, kind of like Nintendo action figurines, but you can kind of put it underneath.
For more collectibles, they're not really action figurines because you can't do anything. You can't move about in real life.
Sorry, not action figurines. I used the wrong statement. It's basically little collectible model things.
The best way to describe them is how Skylanders works. So people who play Skylanders will know about figurines. You place it on a area, it loads up the character information stored on there. It's the same principle. So, for example, if you had a Mario amiibo, which is the most common one, you can put if you're playing Smash Bros for Wii U or 3DS or a new 3DS, you can tap in your Mario amiibo, and you'll load up a Mario character, the Mario CPU, which you can train, give it items, make it stronger, and you can battle with it or alongside it, depending on your preference.
Okay. Right. I should probably at least get around to answering some of these questions before we continue our general game discussion. Well, I'm probably going to be doing a bit of both in between it all, to be perfectly honest. But I'm probably going to get one of the new 3DSs myself. Product placement hashtag. I'm joking.
We do not. We are not being paid to mention any video games in this live stream or food, for example.
Yeah. So
don't all drink Mountain Dew.
Yeah. So like literally anything. I'm not. So if I mention any sort of product or anything like that, it's because
it's mostly for the topical reasons, not for the fact we're doing.
Correct. We're not. Yeah, I'm not doing product placements or anything like that.
We don't get paid at all.
I'm getting paid to do. In fact, I'm not even getting paid to do this live stream, so...
Yeah, we're not endorsed anything, so don't get any ideas that you can live stream for money. It doesn't work.
There's some people who do, but I would say I don't know...
People live stream for the weirdest things. I've seen... One of the laws in Twitch basically you can't do certain things on live stream. People still do it just to get views, and it's absolutely... Well, the commentary itself is boring.
Yeah.
The reason why people watch it is because of the person on the camera. And that is...
Well, it's not necessarily the person on the camera, no, not necessarily the person on the camera, it's like what the person on the camera is doing, if you know what I mean. It
depends on what they're doing, he or she is doing, and what clothing they wear, but I digress. We're not going to go too far into Twitch and streaming.
Yeah, let's say this isn't... Yeah, we're kind of getting a bit of a tangent.
We're here for gaming, not for discussing that sort of content.
Yeah.
We could do it on a later date if people wanted to.
Right, so anyway, why have I not been as active as much recently is one of the questions I've been given, which is pretty much the general gist of it is I've been really busy with work recently. I work in academia as a PhD student. Well, I literally say that because I'm also getting paid for doing academic research. Not going to go down too far into the depths of what I do specifically because that's not the purpose of this channel. But generally, during the day, I'm doing research, and other points of time, I'm either travelling around meeting other academics, or marking various things, or consulting various other things as well. But also, because I'm off to Canada in a few months' time, I also got myself a gaming laptop recently for that sort of moment, so these things will still continue. I've been trying to see as many people as possible before I go out there. I'm only going there for a few months anyway, but it would be nice to see as many people as possible before I go out over there. On top of that, I've also been a bit more sociable. Being a bit sociable with my boss and a few other people around. On that sort of note, I went to a party last night as well. Really, pretty good party. And the weirdest, craziest thing not necessarily the craziest thing, but one weird thing was like in one of my friends' flat rooms, somebody lined out something that looked at the sort of time looked like white powder. I was like, is this cocaine? And then I looked to the left of it, and there was a Lemsip packet that was opened up. It wasn't, on another look, it was actually a bit more yellow. So I was like, then it got me wondering. Could you snort Lemsip?
I've doubt you could, and I don't recommend it because what is in Lemsip is basically paracetamol and pain relief and anti-inflammatories and sinus relief. I would not recommend it. Yes, I said okay. Yes, it's a sinus relief, and people may argue, well, it's snorting a sinus relief. You'll claim my nose are faster. No, that's not how biology works or chemistry works. Please do not snort Lemsip for the good of your health.
So one of my friends...
alongside it, don't do cocaine either.
Yeah, drugs are bad, kids. Drugs are bad, and snorting Lemsip or anything's not good for you either.
Well, this way, guys.
If you want to have Lemsip, boil a kettle, pour some water into it, pour the Lemsip into a cup, pour the water into a cup, wait for it to cool down a bit, and drink.
Yeah. As I was about to say, do not get unless you've got a medical. Don't snort anything. It's not good for your health or your body.
Death and Carter just jokingly sent a message saying, "I demand you do a strip," so kind of like putting upon our sort of like Twitch stream.
Our previous comments on Twitch streaming. No, we're not stripping for you guys.
No, we're not. No.
As much as we like to show everyone our glorious and sexy bodies, no.
Considering we're doing this stream without even showing our faces on camera,
yeah.
I don't think, you know.
I would not feel comfortable seeing my brother being topless on Twitch stream at all.
I have no intention of doing that anytime soon, anyway.
Thank goodness.
Right. How did I come up with the name Sector Alpha and what was behind it? Well, it was all. Basically, it was started off my undergrad days where... No, actually, Sector Alpha... There's been a long string of gaming communities and clans that I've kind of looked after or run over the past 10 years almost, actually. 11 years.
I can't remember. It's been a long time. I remember it basically starting off in your RuneScape years.
Yeah, I used to play a lot of RuneScape back in 2004, 2005. I led a clan called the Legend of Zarus, which was it was an interesting how to put it. There was a lot of people in it, and
it was an experience.
It was an experience, and things happened, and it was an experience. Lots of people in it. Back in the day, RuneScape didn't really have the sort of things it has now, like clan chats. So it was very difficult organising a biggish sort of group in that game, but apart from like forums and IRC.
Yeah, it was mostly. I think I remember correctly. Every time we went to organise anything, we'd go into an IRC chat room.
It was Swift Switch, I think it was called.
Swift Switch, yes.
Yeah, that was it. And yeah, I guess the best, the highlight of that clan was going to the wilderness with about 45 people. One person saying something stupid and just kind of like annoying people. So we all kind of. So it was like 40 people died on him, and a guy was kicked from the clan. And then we went to fight another clan and lost.
It was the good old days of RuneScape.
Yeah.
Not saying I've actually been playing RuneScape recently. They're getting back into the old stealth combat with reducing changes, but it's still not the same as it used to be.
I'm not really. Yeah, to say they've gone back on themselves with old school RuneScape, but that requires starting again, which I'm not a big fan of doing. Anyway, getting back on topic, how does Sector Alpha come into existence? It's basically that sort of continued, died out, fizzled out, merged with another clan, separated from the clan, merged with another clan, took over. Then I ended up kind of becoming de facto leader of that clan, which eventually kind of joined together with another idea of trying to make a hybrid game development organisation and a gaming clan.
That's Secret Anonymous.
Well, it wasn't really called that in the end, but that was well. we called it something really silly. I think Secret Anonymous at the time was one of the silly
It was
names.
actually, I believe what you said when it was called.
Yeah, it was an experiment. Yeah, it was a basically silly name. It was kind of I think the idea for that name came from the fact we wanted to be kind of secret and.
We were trying to be a secretive organisation.
Nothing to do. Yeah, secretive organisation, not associated with actual Anonymous. Of course.
We're not hackers or any shape or form.
No, or hackers are political activists these days as well.
Well, generally because they need to, because of what's going on in the world recently. But then again, as I'll try and keeping a topic for you, we're not here to talk about politics either. No. We're here to talk about gaming and answer your questions.
Exactly. And
in actual fact, guys, if you wanted to ask me a question about about family life with Cosmosquark.
No, you're not answering those questions in the stream. We're not answering those questions in the stream. Although people are interested, eventually that can be answered at some point.
Well, people may be interested to know about what I think about people.
We'll leave that till later at some point.
Possibly.
It depends on how the stream goes, and just when I send a message in the stream. But probably let other people know that we're live. But it looks like we've got a few people watching us. 3 people at the moment. 3 people.
Well, hopefully it'll continue growing because I'm sure people are curious to know what Cosmosquark is like.
I'm dumping this Twitch link to a few people as well to kind of like remind them that this is existing. This is happening.
You're reminding people, basically trying to push reviews.
Today I will remind them. Anyway, back on topic.
I have no idea what that's from.
Right,
to know.
Sector Alpha. That name was coined when I was playing No Game actually, because I wanted to keep. I like the sort of like S and A. Although to my realisation later, there's another website associated with S and A called Something Awful. Although I don't know about Something Awful forums, which I am not associated with either. But anyway, back on topic of that. So, Secret Anonymous turned to Sector Alpha. And at the same time, say the experiment of the gaming clan and game dev thing in one sort of hybrid sort of thing, that idea kind of split apart and it basically fell apart. So we kind of partitioned the two. The game dev side of things went to Darkfield Games, which I'm still a member of and the founder of, and the gaming community side of things is now Sector Alpha, which is what you see today. That's pretty much how the name came to be, how the infrastructure came to be now.
And a basic overview of history of Sector Alpha, really.
This is basically a TLDR version of history of Sector Alpha. How the sort of infrastructure came to be, like for sort of dedicated servers. So I, when I was at university, wanted to play online games with some of my friends. Sector Alpha eventually became. I met a couple of people around. I was like, "Hey, let's form this gaming community called Sector Alpha," and so we met up, had a bit of meet up on campus. Decided to kind of meet everyone, and then we agreed on getting a dedicated game server, which I would be in charge of, and people contributed money towards its existence. And
that's Sasha?
That's Sasha. Yeah, Sasha's first generation. We're on the 3rd generation of Sasha now. The first generation of Sasha only had like an i3 and only had an i3 processor and 16 gigs of RAM, which was fine for playing hosting the odd Minecraft server and TF2 server. Then 2 or 3 years, a few months later. Actually, I think we're in the 4th generation of Sasha now. I think we're 3rd. No, 3rd generation of Sasha. No. Yeah, actually, yes, this is the 3rd generation of Sasha. The 2nd generation of Sasha had an i5 and 16 gigs of RAM as well. And then the 3rd generation of Sasha it's got an Intel Xeon processor and 32 gigs of RAM. Anyway, enough of the technical specifications. Yeah, basically, we host game servers. The gaming community, people played on them, and it was fun. And yeah, there's been some cool people being met through Sector Alpha or introduced Sector Alpha who are kind of lingering around the edges these days, like Usable Lobster, Atomic Acorn, Durdle. Awesome people. It was good time, and good times are still happening as well. Just that since a lot of us have graduated from university, we've all been moving apart and
doing their own thing.
Yeah, so we're still in contact with each other, but yeah, and we've also been a lot busier now as well because we've all got jobs and whatnot. But we're still kind of things are still happening. We still meet up with each other every now and then and play the odd game of Dota 2 with him or something like that. Right, so I think that kind of answers that question and the mist of it all. Any opinions on that, Droid?
Not really any opinions. I mean, I put up with all this going for the ages and listening to how you want to change everything and make it a gaming community which everyone can be a part of and enjoy.
Yeah, I'd say that I've got a few questions I've got a few other questions related to Sector Alpha which I'll answer at some point, which will become a bit more. Some of those questions will become more relevant. Like, for example, when's a new website going to be done? This weekend or next? Difficult question to answer at a Sector Alpha website one, because it's basically building the infrastructure for it from the ground up. I'm intending on making the core of that infrastructure open source at some point. I've been developing it with Anthony mainly. He's Madness Red, but he's known on the forums as Anthony. But also Staircase. Staircase contributed a bit towards it, and Cheesy James has contributed some ideas towards the project as well, and along with a few of friends like Aaron G11. It's probably. It might be able to get a basic version out of 0.2 by the summer. I'm referring to the core components of a blog, a blog, content, forums, and a much better user profile system, which I'm currently working on right now. So, for example, the problem with the current site is I basically just dumped a load of fields and like 20 fields, and people expecting everybody who joined had like a Guild Wars username, a RuneScape username, a League of Legends account, a Dota 2 Steam username.
Basically, a lot of you are saying, what do you play? Instead of saying, these are the games I currently play, and these are the ideas I use for them.
Yeah, so I've been working on a custom framework on the background of it all, so that you can insert your own fields, and the idea being that if you want to search someone's profile for a specific sort of field, they could easily say, Guild Wars or something like that. And they can probably filter people's usernames by, their Guild Wars username. And you can hide or show those sort of things on the profile. Not 100% sure how to show those sort of things on the profile if you want to. Like, you probably don't want to stick everything in your profile and have one big list of things. Well, maybe you do. But in all honesty, I'd say summer 2015. I've been making some progress on it in my own sort of free time. It's, whenever I can grab a spare moment, it should be very few between next month. But the month after that, I should be okay. Anything else to say in it, Droid?
Not very much I can say, because I do not participate in the coding side of the community. I'm more of a on and off streamer when I actually have free time from my work at university.
Yeah, there's a bit of a coding community within Sector Alpha as well, and especially on our IRC, more active on our IRC server actually. It's usually the same sort of people like myself, PT Snoop, and Staircase, who kind of linger around the Darkfield games and Sector Alpha sort of space of it all, if you know what I mean. Basically, and they're all active on the IRC server that we have. But yeah, I guess some loose ideas planned for the Sector Alpha website mainly include integration of the game servers, but everybody's known that idea for a while, along with just generally the ability to form your own groups, find people who play whatever games, and organise your own sort of gaming events. Because personally, from my experience of things, it's been very hard. It's actually not super easy to. If you have a niche game that you like, but you want to find other people who play that niche game and play with them together, that's the sort of thing that's very difficult to do these days, personally. And I'd like to kind of resolve that issue. Anyway, I'm diving too much into the logistics of things. Let's move on to another question. What's coming new to Sector Alpha, games, commentary, etc. Hopefully I'll be able to do a bit more live streams like this when I get some moment myself. But I think Phil K36 might be streaming something tonight on PS2 related things. I'm going to be streaming Worms with my Worms Revolution with DroidXnd soon, and we're probably going to pick a game of somebody's choice or our choice, or
It's
undecided at the moment.
It's undecided at the moment, but generally speaking, if you got ideas, please leave a comment in the chat Twitch stream, and we'll probably think about it or make a note of it. Saying that, you can probably give us a message, and we'll even say on stream what ideas we got.
Yeah, so if you've got any suggestions, ideas, whatever, just post them in the chat, and they'll be all good. Right. Right, so, as I say, that's why we haven't decided on our second game yet. Game-wise, I revived the Guild Wars 2 guild. What games have you been playing recently?
Recently, actually, I've been playing Robocraft on the PC, because it's a good time waster for when I'm taking breaks between work. At university, I've been playing most of the Wii U games. So things like Smash Brothers, Nintendo Land, basically just Nintendo games recently.
Okay, Death Incarnate just prodded me about Killing Floor. Yes, we got a Killing Floor server. It's not currently up at the moment, but I can put it back up because I like that game. I'll probably end up playing a bit of Killing Floor next week, actually. I
actually haven't played Killing Floor yet.
Well, I'm off to visit Death Incarnate in next week because I'm down to give a talk at the university. Is that? So I'm going over there during the weekend to generally chill out, have beer, catch up, probably finish up the talk slides a few hours before the talk, as you traditionally do in academia.
You should really finish it off early.
No, seriously, in academia, it's all lastminute.com. Everyone's like that, seriously. Like, funding deadlines, it's like, say a funding deadline's at 12 o'clock, midnight, or, midnight on... midnight, everybody typically... Well, a lot of people typically send in their application for funding for whatever grant proposal, whatever. They typically send in their application at 11:59 the day before. 11:59 p.m. That's happened quite a bit. It's like, academia's lastminute.com from my experience. Killing Floor, I want to play a bit more. I've probably going to play a bit more of that with Death Incarnate next week. Probably live stream some of that as well from his house. That's nice to think of having a gaming laptop and just basically take it with me and just play games with people anywhere in the country.
As long as you've got an internet connection.
As long as I have an internet connection, yes, preferably fibre optic. Dota 2, I sometimes play. Aaron plays it quite a bit as well.
I haven't been playing Dota 2 in a while, actually.
Have you been getting sick of solo ranked?
No, I've just been doing other games.
I've
been trying to expand my horizon a little bit. That's why I'm playing Robocraft.
Yeah, it can be very sort of... Dota 2 could be quite...
monotonous.
MMOs can be quite... It's the same game, really, except different heroes. I mean, there's lots of a big, vast list of strategies you can do in those sort of games.
Oh yeah, but it's all the same heroes, same people, same strategies. You can't see.
Yeah, I bet somebody listed the stream right now is a big hardcore Dota 2 fan or Moba fan, and Gerald's probably raging at me for saying that, but that's opinion.
In my opinion, I've played Dota 2 for too long.
Yeah,
I've clocked in over 1,500 hours.
Yeah,
it's the same thing.
We're not saying the game's not fun. The game is fun. It's just nice to try other games out every now and then. I guess that's just a general sort of. That's the next question I've been asked. League of Legends or Dota 2? In our opinions, opinions, I'll stop the hashtags.
No hashtagging. Don't hashtag real life because it's not cool.
Sure, but anyway, opinions.